look, when you get into the insurance world, you got to go take a test with the insurance commissioner, right? And the teacher's up there for a week teaching you all this stuff about HO1s and whatever, all the verbiage that comes along with insurance. All of that is out the door.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Ask Valor Masterminds Podcast, brought to you by Advanced Services, Fuse Networks, and Warrior Injury Law. My name's Galen.
I'm Joe.
And Joe, this is new for us. We're on the road, so tell us where we're coming from today.
We're coming in the Kitsap Peninsula. We're actually in Silverdale, Washington right now, and we're with on-spot guest Joe Del Grosso from Kitsap Insurance Group.
Awesome.
And so the reason why I wanted to have Joe on the podcast is I think he runs a pretty tight ship for his insurance practice, and I wanted him to come on to kind of introduce himself. We'll get to know him a little bit better, but then also learn what makes his practice so successful.
Awesome.
So without further ado, would you just go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Joe Del Grosso. I'm been an insurance agent for like 15 years, business owner for about 10.
How did you get into insurance?
Life changes. Just some changes in the 09-08 crisis in an industry that wasn't conducive to the ups and downs of recession. And so, when you have family and kids, you have to find something that's a little bit more stable. And this wasn't something I wanted to do to begin with, right? Because insurance, come on, guys. Yeah. It's not the funnest job in the world. So, yeah. So
but I mean, it pays the bills.
Right.
Well, there's a pivot point. There's a pivot point as an insurance agent when you start actually getting into working with people and lives and actually understanding what you really sell as a product. It becomes more of a, you like the win of the sale, but you also like to take care of people. So if you're like a caregiver type personality / competitive, this is the perfect industry.
So what was the point where you said you started it in the industry and then became like a business owner? What was that turning point to say, all right, I want to run my own shop or own my own shop?
Without, really getting too crazy into it, when you are working for somebody inside of an industry or inside of an office space, and it's a tight community when you're in a small 6-person office, 4-person office, and your small business owners that you're working with, and they just can't seem to listen and adapt to the changes of the industry, of the world, of people, and you want to be better at what you do. The only way to do it is do it yourself. So that's really what it led me to open my own agency.
Awesome. So let's get to know you a little bit more. So we have a couple questions. Joe, you want to start with the first question, please?
Sure. So what are some early lessons learned as an entrepreneur?
One of the best lessons actually came from a different person, not during my ownership. He was sued for not paying somebody appropriately. Oh, okay. So there was a situation where there was a commission check due and he didn't want to pay because the guy left him high and dry, so he shorted the check, and then the guy sued him and he lost, and it cost him thousands. And so with that first time ever hearing something like that and dealing with, employees and things like that, and your biggest asset is your employee, but your biggest liability is your employee. So you have to look at it and go,
two-edged sword.
Yeah, how do you take care of this? So what I ended up doing was just overpaying everybody that ever left. Oh. And I've never been told, you've overpaid me.
Yeah.
And they never come back to me and said, you owe me money.
Right.
So it's probably one of the best lessons.
Kind of nip it in the bud.
Yeah, instantly.
Right. So on your entrepreneurial journey, what is the best piece of advice that you've been given?
The word coachable, right? Or just understand, like, when somebody's giving you some information or you're working with somebody, if the advice is, hey, you're not taking care of me appropriately service-wise, or you're not taking care of me the way I expect to be taken care of, listen to that and understand that you have to make those changes.
So because we're a marketing agency, why is marketing important?
Okay. Marketing, why is it important?
Yes.
Because you'll die on the vine if you don't do it. I mean, what are you doing if you're not marketing? Even if it's just in the sales end of things, when we pay for lead generation and things like that, there's marketing involved in that. So without that, you're not going to just, you can't just open your door, throw a sign up and say, hey, come buy from me.
Yeah.
I mean, my first day when we opened, we had one salesperson and a service person, and we went live at 8 a.m. That phone didn't ring for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that should tell you right then and there what you need to do.
So when that phone didn't ring for 2 weeks, how did you start marketing, or how did you start advertising?
Well, I was under the gun. So, full transparency, I jumped on Facebook Instant or Messenger and just started spam messaging everybody I knew.
Yeah.
So at some point, I had 15 chats up, working, quoting everybody, and then yelling at my team to get on Facebook.
Right.
Start messaging everybody you know.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
And
good luck.
What year did you open your business?
2015.
So since between 2015, here we are 10 years, almost 11 years later, what has changed in how you market?
I mean, everything consistently.
So what did you do then versus what you do now?
So we were doing a lot of just messaging and trying to do referral-based business, and then we turned into purchasing leads, and then it turned into going to expos, and then it turned into marketing for Google leads, or you know what I mean, or working the best you can for reviews, and then pivoting back and forth between the two of them, doing mailers.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point in time, it's everything. We do all sorts of things.
So, what has been I'll ask you two questions. What's been the best kind of marketing, advertising you've done, and what's been the worst since you started?
Man. I mean,
this is stuff you want to drill and get down into.
I will tell you that I feel like Google. So you have to understand, in this industry, I'm competing with the other bigger names.
You're a national company.
Everyone.
Yeah, so I compete with everybody. I compete with the broker. I compete with the 1-800 number. I compete with the Liberty Bibbity, right? I mean, all of it.
The people paying millions for commercials.
Yes. So when it comes to me having to market and pay for that, I can't compete with the sponsored ads on Google. I can't compete with the click to calls on Google, because these other companies are paying $200-$300 a hit, right? So you have to get creative, and so where you can compete on Google is the reviews, right? Where you can compete is paying for leads, and in those leads, understanding how they market, right? How's the marketing that company is doing, bringing that customer to me as a live customer,
right?
Actually developing into a sale, right?
Because it's one thing paying for leads, it's like what you do with them too. So I mean, internally, you have to make sure you're investing in a lead source, but is my team turning them, or are they burning them?
Right. Well, how much, at one point somebody had told me, this is just recent, had told me that in Texas, they spend anywhere from 100 to 125 for a live lead, or for an internet lead, a data lead, and that 1 in 40 closes.
Okay.
And I said, well, I guess I'm not selling in Texas.
Right.
Because, that's insanity.
That's like, what, $40,000 to get
Yeah, so I didn't quite grasp
money.
It's upside down.
Yeah, it is. But the reality of the situation is that the information that you're gathering, the data that you're gathering, is valuable because it turns every 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm 10 years in. So anybody that I've worked with 10 years ago is still being worked to date.
Right.
So, I mean, if we're being, a sales side of things, it's buy or die, right? So you work until the customer is no longer insurable.
Yeah.
Right.
It sounds catty, but it's a reality of sales.
But it's just how cutthroat the industry is.
Yes.
Because the moment you stop doing it, there's 100 agencies that are, I'm going to pick up the trail where you left off, right?
Other states, they're licensed in Washington, they sell in Chandler or Arizona, or they sell in Florida, or we'll run into people's policies and we're like, wait, how do you have an agent in Ohio? So it's a nationwide competition, even amongst your own brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's I want to ask you a kind of a question, just kind of going back, or almost like a restart. So yourself, the advice you give to your younger self before you started the industry, what would you say to your younger self, or someone like you, someone out there in the audience who's thinking of the same situation you're in? I like the insurance industry because I like talking to people. There's a caregiver part of my personality, and I'm a hustler.
Okay.
But I just feel like it's time for me to start my own shop.
Sure.
There's probably people in the audience that I could relate to that, to relate to your story. Knowing what you know now, if you're doing it again, so it's almost that question.
Yeah.
Would you start high school again? And some people say yes or no. Let's say you're going to go back to starting your pre-insurance.
I mean, hindsight's 20/20, right? I mean, that's just what it is.
13 going on 30 or whatever those weird movies are.
Yeah, definitely.
Freaky Friday, whatever it is. Tell your younger self or someone like you in the audience, like, this is one thing you should do or you shouldn't do.
Don't spend the money on the facade. Don't spend the money on what it looks like when somebody comes in. in this industry, it's a phone business. Yep. It's not look how beautiful your office is. I'm going to buy a policy from you. Understand educating is where the profit is at, right? Explaining and educating the client. But when you spend, like I'll give an example. When I first opened, I spent like $35,000. Like I know that number to this day because I know how much $35,000 can convert into business now.
Right.
But I spent 35 grand doing floors and trims and doors and paint and signs and fireplace. This was the fireplace that I had when I first opened. It was beautiful. It was like a home. I wanted to be comfortable in my workspace. Didn't turn into anything.
Yeah.
Just didn't turn anything. And I used to think to myself when I'd see some facilities and they'd just be drab and shot and not customer forward, friendly, approachable, pretty, I'd think, oh God, they must suck. What did I know is that they were putting money in the right places.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Not at all.
Right.
So you can do that after you're successful.
Right.
You can, drive the Volkswagen Beetle and then buy the Porsche.
Right.
So you have a tagline. You're treated like a person on a policy.
Yeah.
Explain how you came up with that.
Well, Trevor came up with that, okay. So I'll give credit where credit's due. And he came up with that because it's the reality. So when you call into a 1-800 number, the first thing they ask you is, what's your policy number? Right? They've now changed things in editing or phone number queues where it pulls up your phone number and populates the policy, right? And they say, hey, John, thanks. Yeah. But in all reality, they need that number to reference you.
Right.
In this aspect of things, you get the same person consistently in my office. So we have 11 people. So you're constantly getting the same person for servicing. And the claim side of it, we're there to advocate and help and work through it. But you're not talking to 20 different people for a billing
you're
for a car change.
You're not in a phone queue kind of thing.
Right. So, and we understand that since we do have a storefront and we are local, that the opportunity for you to drive 25 minutes, 30 minutes because something went sideways is real.
Yeah.
So when you walk through that door, you're no longer a policy number.
Mm-hmm. You're a real person.
So you should do it over the phone to begin with.
So let's talk about employees. So currently you have 11 employees.
Yep.
What's the most that you've had? What's the least that you've had? And how do you go about finding the right employees for your business?
Yeah, it's,
because hiring and firing is just part of being a business owner.
I mean, there's so many levels to that. I mean, that's like onions, man. It's just peel the layers. I think we were at 16 at one point. We had 4 offices or 3. At some point you're just running so fast and hard that you're hiring and really actually the retention from my agency is pretty strong. So most tenure is over 3 years. Highest tenure is 10 from the beginning, right? But the lowest I think we've had is 8. Okay. The biggest issue is the cheese graters. The people that you hire that you like because they remind you of you. Mm-hmm. But then you realize that you were a pain in the ass for the company you worked for because you're like, oh, I really like you. Oh, well, I was a jerk. Interesting, So you understand when you start to understand who you're hiring and how they blend with your team and how they actually work with your whole environment, mm-hmm. right? What is it? The ecosystem is like the tag words, right? You find out who you can't hire, mm-hmm. Real quick. Yeah. But the lowest I think is like 8 and the highest is like 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you train people once they come in?
It's like a fire hose, man. Look, when you get into the insurance world, you got to go take a test with the insurance commissioner, right? And the teacher's up there for a week teaching you all this stuff about HO1s and whatever, all the verbiage that comes along with insurance. All of that is out the door. Because I don't speak in insurance terms to a client. They would never understand it.
People speak, and you're trying to create a relationship and a connection.
100%.
Not like this law 100.1.2.
Yes, the RCW. Yeah, exactly. All the stuff that breaks down in education doesn't apply, except for obviously the coverage information. It doesn't apply. You can't speak that language. You'll never get anywhere. And on top of that, so they learn that, then they come into Allstate, and the verbiage is different but the same, right? Mm-hmm. What is that meme? Same, but we are the same but different. Whatever that is. Right. Whatever. It's one of my favorites. But it is a lot of information, and the learning curve is a year, maybe 2. So like Sam is newer in the agency, and I sit across the hallway from her and listen, mm-hmm. right? And she does a really good job. She's been in the industry, but she hasn't been with Allstate for as long as I have, and so some of the terminology or the way that she's speaking to coverage isn't how I'd expect it to be explained, mm-hmm. because it could lead to interpretation. Yep. We don't want interpretation.
No.
You want...
So do you speak more in like general terms then? Or just more detailed to the point?
You get straight to the point. Like, this is what the coverage covers and this is how it covers, right? It's not left to interpretation. Just so you understand, in the insurance world, your policy jacket, I'm sure you all have policy jackets, that is a contractual obligation between two parties. First, it's the party, you, the owner of the policy,
and then the insurer.
And Allstate. Right. So they have an obligation to that contract, and you have an obligation to the contract. So if you interpret it differently than Allstate interprets it, what do we have? We have a problem.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to make sure that you're communicating appropriately, and that's where it takes time.
Right.
To try to
Because
get.
you're selling. I mean, this is a people industry.
Yeah.
So you're learning about their needs are.
Yeah.
You're kind of projecting what their needs may be in the future or issues that may come up. So you just want to make sure that they have the right coverage. I think a lot of people give insurance a bad name.
Sure, 100%
right?
they do.
But it's something you need to protect yourself and your family and your cars for something that may happen in the future.
Sure.
Because the people that get the shitty coverage or the minimal coverage are the ones who are the most angry when something actually does happen.
You want a job?
No, it's just straight honest. Like,
no, it's a reality.
My younger
Sure.
self, I went for the cheapest coverage.
100%.
Why? Because that's what I could afford.
Right.
As I got older, I'm like, no, I want to make sure that I'm covered and my family's covered. And if someone hits me and they don't have the proper coverage, I still want to make sure that I'm covered in this scenario that pops up.
Yeah, and you really lead to a great point in regards to how the market's changed and how people buy, right? So in between the age bracket of 18 to 25, it's online, right? It's just they're used to online purchase.
Right.
It's fast. It's easy. I don't have to communicate with anybody. I don't have to work with anybody because I don't want to talk to you. I want to sit on my couch. I want to sit with my cat or my dog with my little snacks, throw through my phone and buy a policy and then go back to what I'm watching, right? But when they become a homeowner,
different story.
or they spend 30 grand on their first car, or they get married, or they're pregnant about to have a baby and they're buying a new home. That's when they're like, I need more info, right? So it's easy to sell yourself at a young age. So you have to know where you're at with a client and know the process of where they're at from 18 to 70, because at 70 and 80, it changes again.
Because then you feel like you probably need less coverage because maybe...
Well, you can't afford it. You're on Social Security. You didn't save appropriately. The rates in Washington are going up. The cost of living is not keeping up with the money that you've saved.
Right.
Your cost of insurance has gone up because you're 70 years old. You can't understand why. You're frustrated. I've given all this money my whole life. And then you're having a conversation with a 70-year-old like you would have a conversation with an 18-year-old. I know that it's more money, but you're in an age bracket where it costs more. So it's very... The circle of life is brutal.
So it's cyclical in the industry.
It is.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Before we go any further, this episode of the Ask Valor Masterminds Podcast is brought to you by Warrior Injury Law.
Injured? Call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
What other ways do you put yourself out there in the community? Because to be frank, there's your practice here, and right down the low, there's another one.
So
and in between you there's probably 3 other different companies that I could go choose from. So how do you put yourself out there?
I mean, if putting ourselves out there means sponsoring a baseball or a BMX company or a rider for a dirt bike or doing a pumpkin patch or doing an expo. I mean, those are the things you do, right?
Right.
First of all, you enjoy doing them, right? I really do enjoy the holiday season type things. I don't know why. You don't get a lot of. The close rate on that stuff is not huge. The reality, though, is you're out in the community.
But it's branding.
Right.
And
it's branding.
You're visible.
You're visible, yeah, and you have to stay visible. I think the other thing that is important is making sure that when you do work inside the community and you're taking care of people, that they're saying things about you, right? So when you're out at an event or an expo and somebody says, hey, I work with Joe, you guys should work with them. You know what I mean? Or I work with this team.
Third-party endorsement all day long, right?
And you have to be out doing things. You can't... Look, you're taking the community's money. You better do something to put it back into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? At not something like, hey, every penny needs to go back into it. You have to run a business, but you should be doing things. We first started, we did backpack drives and stuff like that, and that was great. And then you go into sponsoring a team. Or Olympic High School was really, really, a client was she was good at getting me. She learned the right time to call me. At the right time of the month.
That's a skill.
She learned to call me on payday. So she knew that when my paydays were, right? So she would call and say, hey, do you want to sponsor the wrestling team? Do you want to sponsor the football team? You're an Olympic alumni. You should do this. And, sponsor the cornhole event. Christina, if you're out there watching this. And great family too, right? So I may have not been at those events, but those were yearly things that are taken care of. And her kids are grown and off to college and doing things, and we're still sponsoring just because we are 8 years into sponsoring a cornhole tournament. I have 5 cornhole boards downstairs with my name on them. They all hand make them at the shop and stuff. So, those kind of things.
Well, people are used to seeing you then. After a while, now they expect you, and it's almost something would be wrong if what happened to them.
That would be. I would say that's 100% right, because as soon as we pulled away from doing that stuff came up. Yeah. So we've learned that when we pull away, people start asking questions too when you're not out in the public. So
what's been your biggest accomplishment being a business owner?
Oh man.
I'll give you my example, and then you can figure out what it is. So for me, marketing is not just about marketing. I'm selling something to a business, but what my selling does is it provides leads to a business. Those leads for a business turn into business for them, but that business, more importantly, is not just for the business owner, but it's to put food on the table for all of their employees. So to me, that's what marketing is. So when marketing fails, you're basically not failing the business, you're failing everyone who relies on that business for work. So that's my biggest accomplishment, is providing food on the table for everyone else.
Yeah, I'll spin that a little bit and say that it's being fiscally responsible when you can do something different. Like, people know me. They know me well enough. They know I'm a bit materialistic.
Yep.
I know who I am.
Right. You got some cars.
I got some. I sold one, right? But I still have quite a few. But when you say, hey, I can't do this because it's going to hurt my team, that is a maturity level that you have to have. And that I would say that's the biggest accomplishment, because I wasn't like that when I was younger. Right. So seeing a large deposit and not going, ooh,
let's pick up another toy, whatever.
I mean, I don't have a Rolex on, I want one. But I'm like, can't do that. You know. So there's that right there. I'd say the biggest accomplishment is making sure to be fiscally responsible so that you can keep your team employed, so they can buy houses, buy cars, have babies, grow their own life.
So for that, real quick, for that accomplishment, when did you figure it out? Was it like the past 5 years?
No. Right at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason I say that is because there was about a 6-month period where, shout out to Mandy, I was going to my wife's salon and asking for her cash to pay my staff.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't profitable enough to pay them.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it's a 6-month premium. It's a 1-year premium. So the premium you sell the first month, you might get a commission, but it's going to take 6 months for that policy to renew.
Right.
And the commission's not 80%, whatever the.
Oh, is it like 2%?
Yeah.
It's low.
Minimal.
It's minimal. Even if it was what it was in the past at 10, if you sell a $1,000 policy at 10%, that's $100.
Yeah.
It's not much.
If you're paying an
much.
employee 20 of 100, and you're paying the taxes to Washington State and you're paying the taxes to the federal government,
Yeah.
it takes a lot.
That adds up quick.
Yeah. So I learned right away what it was going to take to make sure that I was being fiscally responsible with the money, taking care of staff and hiring and growing, because, you take $3,000 from your wife to pay 2 staff members for 2 weeks work.
Right.
It got real quick.
Well, it got old for her.
It's like, come on now.
So, it took a while, but that is I would say that was the biggest lesson, not having to go to somebody to pay my staff.
Marketing matters. Growth matters more. This episode is powered by our sponsor, Fuse Networks.
Millions of cybercriminals are out there on a daily basis trying to steal your information. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Small businesses account for 58% of cyber attacks annually. So help your company fight cybercrime and mitigate risk by being proactive. Call Fuse Networks, your local Seattle IT experts, at 206-701-6040 for a complimentary IT network and security assessment.
How do you... I think one of the hard things when people are trying to retain employees, sometimes they'll pay more, they'll offer benefits.
Yeah.
How do you give back to your employees? Do you do events? Do you take them places? Do you... Because maybe the insurance company, maybe they get bonuses or things like that, but that only goes so far.
Yeah, money's not... money's a motivator for a lot of people, but just like anything else, all of you, if you're married or if you have a significant other, you know that their love language is not your love language, right? So you have to understand who you're working with and understand what they want. Some of them want an attaboy.
Right.
Yeah. They don't want the dollar raise. They do, but they want to be told they're doing a good job.
Right.
And, or, you only yell at me. Mm-hmm. How many of us grew up in the 70s when parents just yelled at you, or in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
They all get yelled at, and I just want
That
you to
was the
love
norm.
me. You know, it's the same.
That was the norm.
So you have to understand what your team needs from you as an owner, what they need from their managers, what they need from their other employees, and then understanding like you're not going to retain in a town like this or any town that's naval based, right?
Yeah.
So you have 5 or 6 Navy facilities throughout this whole state. You're competing against shipyards, Costco, Google, all of it, over Issaquah, all of it, right? So what do? Do you offer medical insurance? Do you offer a 401k? How does it work as a small business owner? When you find out how that works, that'll make you mad. Because if you're not matching or adding contribution, you can't do the 401ks. You can't do certain things. And so you're hog-tied a little bit on some of the things that you can do if you're not big enough.
All right.
But if you're too small, you can't retain.
Yeah.
So you got to find the dance.
A good balance then.
Entrepreneurs don't wait, they build. This episode is sponsored by A Advanced Services. They deal with septic, drain fields, drain cleaning, electrical, and construction. Committed to providing outstanding customer experiences, they ensure top quality services customized to your needs. As a family-owned business, they take pride in delivering reliable and personalized septic solutions you can trust. That's straight from their website. Your trusted septic partner since 2006.
So we talked about your success as a business owner. What's your biggest success as a person?
I was just on a corporate meeting yesterday about this. I think it's the ability to pivot or change, to reinvent. I mean, as you can see, I'm a bigger guy, but I've weighed 365 pounds. I've weighed 225 pounds. I've climbed to the top of Mount Rainier twice, and I could barely get off my couch some days. So knowing how to pivot yourself or saying, hey, I need to make a change now and go full force is probably one of the biggest things is for me. That's my biggest success, is understanding how to change and when it's needed.
Any other advice you want to give to the audience about either being your own boss, owning your own insurance agency, or just being a business owner?
Honestly, it's not for everybody. Understand who you are. If you sit at a desk and say that you could run a better, you could do better at this, and you could run a better facility, or you could be a better, I don't know, whatever business you're in. If you say you can do that, but then you badmouth everybody in the business, the manager, the owner, you're probably not going to be a good owner, right? You need to understand who you are as a person before you jump into business ownership. It's not for the faint of heart. And if you're going to get into it, be prepared to be broke, because you're not going to get rich just because you opened a business.
Yeah.
Right. Just because you open the doors, people aren't flocking in.
No.
Once you make it past like 3 years in business or 5 years in business, then you become successful. But the lead up to that is not always the best.
I would say business ownership is a get rich slow program. Right? I mean, something's going to blow up. Some people are lucky. You see it. You see somebody open a business, and before you know it, they sold it to XYZ company for $4 or $5 million.
But that's the 1 out of 10,000.
Exactly.
That's your technology company.
I'll line 1,000 people up that have failed, and we're probably good business owners, but it's not going to work for everybody. So be fearful when you open. Don't be cocky or arrogant or bring in, I can do this and I know I'm going to do it and therefore it's going to happen. Because if you have no fear, there's probably not much of a drive and you don't realize it.
Right.
Yeah.
We did mention cars. What's the favorite car that you own right now?
Oh. Well, I just sold a Porsche.
The blue one?
Yes. So that's the fiscal responsibility thing though, right?
Yeah.
So you look at something that have equity in, it costs you monthly payments, you brought it to a couple of shows, you're not writing insurance off of it like you expected to, and you have to say, I got to let you go.
Yeah.
That was my baby. And I think I'm letting a lot of that go as I get older. I think things change for you as
It's
you.
not about the things that you have anymore.
Yeah, I want to swim. I want to float in a pool like a manatee in Arizona when it's winter in Washington, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pivoting. I want to change things.
Yeah.
So that's where I talk about, hey, what makes me happy? What do I want? Is this making me happy anymore? And I love cars. They're beautiful. I was in the car industry for 9 years. I was in the copier industry for 4 years. I've been in all the bad industries.
Oh, so the copier industry, then you're pounding the pavement.
Man.
That I know from other people I've known. Talk about sales.
Yeah.
It's as cutthroat as you get in the copier industry.
Oh man, I could tell you some stories.
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
I used to go through doors like this, like businesses like this, and I would trip on purpose as I walked through the door to disarm the
gatekeeper.
Yes. Just to disarm them.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. You just tripped. Oh yeah, look at me. I'm dumb.
Yeah, I got you.
By the way, you know, so you have to learn those things because you know you get thrown out. I mean, I have so many stories about that industry. That industry was very interesting. The car industry, the 9 years in that, what I really learned from that is there's some real disgusting people out there in the world as consumers and as business owners. And everybody says the car business is a bad name because they're all a bunch of sleazeballs. Well, until you have a priest lie to you about what they're doing when they buy a car, you'll find out real quick that the world is no different when it comes to buying a car.
Right.
So, shouldn't talk like that, but that was one of my pivoting moments in that business.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, whoa, well, that's weird.
So you let the Porsche go. What's your next favorite?
Like I said, I'm going to float in a pool in Arizona at some point. So no more cars.
No more cars.
No more
All right.
cars.
So just
Yep.
the BMW you have.
Come on now, Joe. Yes. I will say I did pivot from gas cars to electric, which I thought was very interesting. I was pretty impressed. So my wife has an electric car and I was not about it. And it's pretty impressive.
I mean, it does save you money on gas. You still end up paying for it when you charge it, but...
I mean, I haven't seen a huge difference, to be honest with you. What I do see the difference is when we drive that electric vehicle and I drive by people at the gas pump, I'm like, sucker. Because nobody wants to touch the gas pump and be outside freezing, you know?
No.
Even if it's Costco, it doesn't matter.
$80 fill up.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yeah. So I'd say maybe in the future when EV really gets it figured out, people will probably enjoy it more. It does make her seasick though, the motions.
Yeah.
So she has to be the driver, which I'm okay being the passenger princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if some of our artists want to come by or connect with you online, what's the best way to kind of find you online or come visit you?
You can type my name in, first and last name, Joe Del Grosso, Allstate Insurance. It'll populate. You can call into my office, ask for me directly if you'd like.